It's Gobshite tonight. Show respect, don't start a fight. With all the gimmicks you love to see, and some jokes understood by Reese Kennedy. So grab a drink and do what's right. All the cool kids are watching Gobshite tonight.
Hello, and welcome to Gobshite Tonight, the preview show. I hope you all enjoyed the jingle and our nice little new bed music that we've got while the stream's warming up. That's fun, isn't it? Nice little bit of inoffensive techno in the background. Evening. We've got some people in chat. We've got Reese, we've got Francisco, we've got Mike, we've got George, and on the line with me right now we have Vince. Hello, Vince.
Hi everyone. We also have La Daughter de la Foot who will accompany us for a few minutes at the beginning of the show.
Yes, it is Vince's daughter's first live stream. Is it Ophelie? How do we say your daughter's name, Vince?
You said it correctly the first time. Ophelie.
Ophelie. That's beautiful,
Excellent.
isn't it? We will be joined by someone who speaks less sense than Ophelie, Whammer, hopefully, at some point.
Hello.
Hey, speak of the devil. We've got Whammer here. Hello, Whammer.
Howdy.
How's it going, Whammer? Are you ready to talk some nonsense about the preview show, upset everybody?
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. It's a good time.
Yeah. I'm not saying this is the most professional one we've ever done, but we had a bed. It was nicely faded out. Nothing's gone wrong yet. Touch wood. So yeah, we're learning how to do live streaming very, very slowly.
There's a whole show for us to get something wrong. I'm sure we'll be fine.
Yeah. So let's jump right in, shall we? Season 10, just gone. A new World Cup cycle began, as you can see. We didn't really have to change that much about this slide. Just the cycle of the World Cup and the logo, but it was still the Chiro show, really. So congratulations to Weasels winning last season. Also well done to Barcelona, Tiki Taka Toa, the Pigs, Maychester, all good stuff. Although, is that really right? I'm pretty sure Pigs finished higher than Llamas, didn't they? Have I gone mad?
No, tiebreakers, it went to the Llamas.
Tiebreakers went to Llamas. Right, it's the website that went. Well, who cares? That's fine. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about the predictions from last season. And the overall winner of the predictions show, or of the predictions, was Johannes. Well done, Johannes. You were very good at predictions last season. The worst two people at predictions are the two people that we have on the panel, which makes me think: have we made a mistake?
What I love is that despite us being individually so bad, me especially, I've had a terrible season. Although I didn't have as many bad records as what Reese's had. I love that the record for the Gobshite team is actually quite good. So it's all to your credit, Mitch.
Yeah. What I've learned is if you do it by committee and then don't enter by yourself, when everybody else shits the bed, I look better from it. So that's good, isn't it? Well done also to Reese, who came second, really, if we don't count the test season average, because obviously that's going to be right.
I think the only person who deserves credit is Johannes, because he did well, and he... what am I saying? Johannes and Reese and the Tessies, the top three, all cheated. So Gobshite Tonight team is the true winner.
Interestingly, what I like to see about the color code is slightly different than what we've seen before here, where if it's green, it's that you got that nearly right. If it's red, you got that not nearly right, and if it's black, you got that very far away. Basically, it's color scale from 1 to 10, and for 10 plus it turns black. interestingly, Barcelona is the team that we all, I think, have in black. Maybe minus me, who have been lucky on this. But it looks like we were all expected Barcelona to be way worse than what they did.
I mean, there is one other team in there who seems to be mostly in black.
Oh yeah.
Who may have
Make it
surpassed
so.
who may have surpassed expectations just a tad, but that's absolutely fine. So we will obviously do these predictions again after this show, and yeah, we'll see if anyone's any better at it this time. But there's a reality show that I want to watch at 9 o'clock, so we need to push right on ahead and talk about last season's champions, the Weasels. Weasels manager Jorge Jesus, whatever.
Jesus.
Jorge Jesus. That's too many H's for a man on non-alcoholic beer to say. Key players. Vince, what do you think?
I'm so curious to see if Chiro will keep the level of play that we've seen in FM21. I can't see that happening. Like, I haven't looked at his stats at all in FM22, so I'm completely in the dark.
Yeah.
And I know he's tremendous, but I can't imagine he'll be as good as what we've seen in FM21. So it's the big surprise for me. For the rest of the team, I do rate them fairly high, I have to say. I guess they get the glossy view of being the reigning champion, but yeah. Chiro, Radebe, even Zuma isn't a bad shout in FM22 from what I've seen. So yeah, and Danovic, one of the best keepers. I would say that's a top 16, first third of the team, the rankings.
Someone's brought some positivity about the Weasels after being so mean about them last time. What do you think, Wemmer?
I mean, yeah, the team just looks really good, doesn't it?
Depressingly so.
Yeah, I'm the one who wrote those season goals in for the Weasels. I don't know if you kept my season goals for all the teams, but this one is word for word what I put down.
Yeah, I didn't have a chance to write as many jokes as I wanted to, but I think I did change a couple of them up, so that's fine. Yeah,
as long as they're not all dry as fuck, then we're good.
No, it being dry is what makes it funny. That's what we're leaning into anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, we like it. We like it. Yeah, I suppose the big question. Off you go.
I have no idea. Is Pedri good in FM22? Is Pedri that good as an AMC?
He's like, I mean, I've never seen him in a game of FM22, but stats wise, his CA's like high 150s.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So let's jump right into the tier maker, shall we? And I feel like we're going to be putting these lads pretty high. 3, 4, 5? Higher?
Start 3, 4, 5, and then maybe move up to first loser later.
Yeah. When we get back. When we see some of the other teams. Because there are other good teams in here. I did think, as I was looking through the teams earlier, the teams generally seem a lot better this year, barring a few people who shat the bed. Have we got a bonus jingle, for fuck's sake? 2 secs. We don't. There's a little thing that when you put a media file in, this is my fault for saying
to saying it was the most professional
one we've ever done. Right, yeah, because what happens is every time you change, it's not on loop, is it? It's just playing. Nope, that's fine. I'm pausing it. Sorry, everyone who is enjoying the jingle. In fact, I'm removing it from there. Remove. Every time I change scene, it's going to play the jingle if I don't, which is going to just derail the whole show. No, it's just finished and you played it again. We're not playing it again. No more jingle, apart from at the end of the show. Right, yeah. I was making a very serious point about the teams generally seem a lot more balanced this year. I feel like there's a lot of good teams, whereas last time there were some teams who were really shit. I don't know if that's.
I think we're also a lot more in the dark that we were, of course, at the beginning of last season. Like, there's a lot more unknown quantity. Will Benzema be as bad in FM22 as he was in FM21?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of unknown there. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what actually comes out of this first season.
Yeah, I think that's what we're all excited to see. Oh,
Benzema, I agree, and I believe Ophélie is very right in suggesting that Benzema should have won the Ballon d'Or.
anyway,
Sorry,
yeah.
I'll mute myself if she starts to cry.
Oh no, I think it will. If anything, it will add to it, add to the fun. Barcelona, they look very good again. Very Barcelona. Oh, James, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, sure. They look real good. I'm going to say this quite a few times, I think. Like, the midfield maybe is a bit untested as far as, like, being title contenders go, although I feel like the last time I thought that about a team that won the league, it was Barcelona. Thiago Silva and Bonucci, they have the speed of half a centre-back between them. So I hope Stefan's not planning on drafting a manager that wants to play a high line. But I mean, if you just look at like the quality of that back four and Donnarumma behind them, like it's incredibly strong. And then Salah and Aguero to score goals, like yeah, they should be really good.
And will Thiago Silva and Bonucci decline through the year because of their age, or
Yes.
are their stats likely to stay roughly on par to what they were at the beginning of the season?
It's they are going to get worse throughout the season, and I think that's also probably true for Aguero as well. I was thinking they look good, but now Reese is gobbing off in the comments saying they look bad, and I'm thinking about how old those centre backs are, and I hate Alexandro because he let me down that 1 year. I suppose it really lives and dies by how good the backups are, but we're not going to do that because we are only judging on the preferred 11. So we will see. Team is going to struggle to make the split and fall off a cliff, is what Reese is saying. What do you think, Vince?
I agree with that. I guess we can say it's a team that's likely to make the split and will probably struggle a bit more towards the end of the season. So it might be a case of how many points can they actually rack up before the split. And I mean, they could finish again like top 6, I'd say. Like when you see Aguero Salah like that on paper, it's tremendous. At Silva, Bonucci, if it was a Euro style of tournament on 2 or 3 weeks, where like that team would be absolutely incredible.
Yeah, definitely a team that you feel has to start well, and if they start well, they might just push through. But if they get off to a bad start, you can't see them picking up in the second half of the season as those knees start to go. So where do we think we should put them on the tier maker? I feel like they're kind of dropping. I can't even find Barcelona. They're kind of dropping 8, 9, 10, a split line, or a little bit higher. What do we think?
I feel like you've convinced me to say just put them in like 10, basically. I think Reese's vision of them struggling to make the split and then just being the whipping boys of the final 10 games sounds plausible to me.
Cool. Well, that's good, isn't it? I've removed the wrong frame. Well, I've definitely cursed us by saying we're going to be fucking great at this. Oh, sorry, I swore in front of the baby. Right, video capture device. Deactivate, activate. Hey, right, that's better. Right, we'll put them.
Susie swore in front of that baby so many times at the weekend.
All right, well, that's fine. I won't. I will try not to swear too much, but I also won't be too bothered when I do. Let's move on to Tiki Taka Toa. They finally managed to play for more than 6 games, so that's good, isn't it? And did pretty well last season. What do we think of them this season? I'll Whammer, you can go on this one. What do you think? Vince, you go instead.
Can I say I am really curious to see what Wijnaldum will do for the team. We were actually, I asked James for Wijnaldum's stats, and they were very odd. As in, they're good. Like, don't mind me, they're good. But for his position, or for all the positions he can play in, is never a starter. It feels for the Gobshite level that we have. So it's an amazing all-rounder. But will it be good enough? Here is my question. Like, it might very well be, but I'm just very curious about that. Other than that, I have to say, the team looks pretty good, right? Mendy, Diaz, Fernandez, Lukaku. That's top house, no?
Yeah, it
Or do you agree?
definitely. I have the same reservations a lot of people do about that midfield not being maybe as industrious as you need. But we'll see. They might just get away with. They might just get away with being really good and having great technical, creative players, and it all just works for them. Or they get away with it on the strength of the centre backs, because Diaz is pretty good. We'll find out. But yeah, if that midfield does go to pot, you're going to feel like Muriel and Lukaku don't really have that. If they can't get the ball because no one does anything, they're going to struggle. But it's pretty good. So where do we think they're going to go on the tier maker as we power through? Oh, I'm not on the right one. Tier maker. Frozen again. Doesn't like this.
I'll let James.
Yeah.
I'll let James express where he thinks they should go.
I think they should be about the level of the Weasels.
About the level of the Weasels. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, like, basically, it comes down to whether the midfield can do the job, because it's the interesting thing of the lowest work rate among the three of them is 15, but the highest tackling is 13. So they're going to be trying to get the ball back. Whether they succeed or not, I don't know. But I do think that, like I put on the slide, all of the players are really good. Like, there's a flaw to how well they can do.
Sure, I'd get on board with that. Let's move on and talk about the pigs. Has my camera frozen again? Yeah, I'm just turning the camera off because it makes me look like a dickhead every time. Right. The pigs. Pretty good run last year. Bottled the cup. Bottled the league. But are they better this time around? Or are they worse? What do we think? Whammer, you can go on this one.
Yeah, when we say bottled the cup, we do mean won it, right?
Oh, did they win it?
Yeah, a little bit.
I can't remember. I didn't watch that stream. Probably won the cup. Well done for winning the cup. You were fourth on head to head. All right, chill out, Liam. You're fourth on head to head. That's fine. Anyway, yeah. What do we think of the pigs?
Yeah, I think they're good. I'm less impressed with them than I was with the Weasels and Tiki Taka Toa.
Yep.
But I mean, I think that it's a really well balanced team. I think it suffers from the slight problem that Hazard obviously isn't going to be as good in FM22 as he was previously. And of the front three, I don't know how prolific any of them are going to be. Yeah. I mean, I guess to an extent that's true of all players in FM22, right? But yeah, I think that the pigs will be good for short highlights in games. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I think Reece has raised an interesting point that they look like an old school Ducks team, like really good fullbacks, questionable front three, and yeah, I could get on board with that. Like, are they going to do amazingly well? I just don't know. I really want Duvan to get a great season. What do you think, Vince?
I do think that their bottom seven, the bottom half of the pitch, looks pretty good. Like, Rodri is, of course, a tremendous player. Unai Simon, one of the best keepers in the game. Alaba, Skriniar, that's good. Alexander Arnold, all of that is good. And as you said, Vinicius Jr., I don't know in the game they translated how good a few weeks he's just had in real life. And I don't think he's going to score that much. Hazard, I don't know. I haven't been transcended by him in FM21 anyway. So it feels like it's that type of team is going to be edging around that 8 to 11 position, always not too far, like a run of 2 or 3 consecutive wins to contending for like the podium and stuff like that, but never getting ready there because lacking the goals.
Yeah, so we're putting them in that Barcelona bracket, 8, 9, 10 at the minute. What do you think, James?
Yeah, maybe even lower than that. So like, and 8 to 12 would be where I put them.
Yeah, either in or below the Barcelona tier, I think.
All right, we'll whack them there. We've got tiers to fill. Sorry, Jojo.
It's the problem is like it's an unknown, right? We could look real stupid with this because Vinicius Junior and Diogo Jota both are better than they were in FM21, but in no previous season has either of them got close to double digits on goals. Duvan got 15 last season with the Ducks, but
and he did play the pensioners twice.
Yes, that's a very good point that I hadn't taken into consideration. So, yeah, it could be the Vinicius and Jota both have like their best seasons ever for goals, for all we know. But on the face of it, just based on the data we have so far, just doesn't look that scary an attack to face, does it?
Oof. So, Pigs, you have been roasted. We'll look forward to dropping down from that 11, 12, 13 as we look at these other teams. So let's move on to the Llamas, who, I'm very sorry that we put you in 5th. I just went off the website. But, yeah. What do we think of the Llamas? Pretty good team, as usual. The last season before they go?
I would say, as usual, looking at the team like that on paper, I don't rate them very highly. Ooh. And I wouldn't be surprised if, as usual, they arrive in the top 5. But just my take here. I don't see Isaac that good. I don't see Grealish being much better than Vinicius Junior or Benzema we discussed before. Mahrez is good, but he's not on the level of Salah or some of the wingers that we've seen in the game. Benasser is a token, I don't know, an icon in a way, but I don't know that he's that good. Kanté, tremendous. And the back 4, I can't remember them being so good. Neuer is, of course, tremendous, but I don't know. Like, looking at that like that, I would put them 10 to, or 11 to 14. But I wouldn't be surprised if again they arrive at the top
5. Those aren't the right colours. If you want your colours right, send the lineup when we ask for them. Otherwise, we're going to get it wrong. I don't even know who made this one.
On that point, Liam did send the right colours.
Oh, right.
But he did send them in circle fashion, and I wanted to have the jerseys like this. So I went. I understand that there will be some sort of checkered. How do you say? Pattern on the jerseys, but yeah, it's
cool.
This is not something that I had accepted.
One thing I'd say on Isak as a striker is that, this is very low-hanging fruit, Vince, so I apologise for that. But in the entire history of Gobshite, Isak has only ever been a regular starter twice, and both times he scored more goals than Benzema has scored in any season since season 1. And that was on FM21, and Isak in FM22 has had a boost since FM21. So I'm really excited to see how good Isak can be. I think there's a chance he could be, I don't want to say the Chiro of FM22, because first and foremost I think Chiro will be the Chiro of FM22, but I think Isak will be very good. Grealish and Mahrez, they're both pretty solid. I don't think either of them will pull up trees, but I think they'll do very good. I'm always going to be enamoured with any team with Kanté in it and not be able to give an unbiased opinion, but I think that the Llamas look pretty solid in that regard. I don't know if they'll do as well as they have done in previous seasons, but I feel like I say that every season, and then they do as well as they have done in previous seasons.
So I feel like we're landing at 6, 7 here. Does that seem about right, or are we putting them right into 3, 4, 5?
Yeah, I one of those.
One of those.
Let's go lower down because it'll annoy Liam.
Yeah, 6, 7. That seems pretty good to me. All right, moving on from the llamas, let's talk about. Whoa, what are these guys doing here? We don't usually talk about one of our teams until much later in the show. There must be something wrong here. But yeah, here's Manchester United. Look at that. We did unexpectedly well. It's about as rubbish as it always is. What do you think? Vince, you can go first on this one. Say nice things about my team.
Well, I was talking about that with Ophelia just now, and she isn't too sure she understands who's hackers, who's Cal.
Oh, hackers is Hakan Calhanoglu.
Calhanoglu.
Yeah, it's just called hackers now, and Pal is Pau Torres.
Noted. When I think about the team, first it has Ronaldo, probably the better player of the game.
Yeah.
The one that will not guarantee you to finish in the second half of the ranking, which is rather good. And it has Pjanic, who I have a lot of affection for. I mean, since he's left, the team has only gone downwards. So looking at it like that, honestly, I like the team. I rate Ronnie and Pjanic very highly. Kovacic is good. Cass is a tremendous DM. So I wouldn't be surprised if, again, you have a good season and finish in the first half of the run of the league.
Yeah. And the big question is, of course, will Ronnie press enough? And am I going to be taking a manager who plans on doing a lot of pressing? And the answer is yes. And it's going to be terrible. I can't wait. What do you think, Whammer?
I genuinely, unironically think you'll do really well.
Oh, no. We can't have this.
I'm sorry. I know you don't want to hear it. I think that Ronnie and DCL will score a lot of goals.
Because
Until Pep fell into my lap for my team, my plan was to take DCL as my main striker. Because in my experience with FM22 so far, crossing is real good, like real good, and Ronnie and DCL will bang them in.
Well, that's exciting, isn't it?
Otherwise, it basically looks like a better version of the team that you did well with last season.
We will find out, and yes, we do have to acknowledge that the front three of Hackers, Ronnie and DCL is exactly the same front three that Jake had last season. I've just nicked it, so that's good, isn't it?
It worked out well for Jake.
Worked out so well for Jake.
Why we've not reached his team in this yet.
The Manx were the second best team last year on average. Well, Manchester, that's going to be Manchester this year. No, where are we putting them? I want to put them 8, 9, 10, but I'll be talked up if anyone wants to put me up.
I'll let Vince weigh in.
8, 9, 10 seems legit to me.
Yeah, 8, 9, 10. That's fine. No disappointment there. No pressure. All right.
Reese has pointed out that in all of the test seasons, Manx were on average the second best team. So having their attack is probably actually quite good. It's just they got unlucky with how the season went down.
Yeah, that'll do. It happens. FC Sirs with their questionable defence in terms of what's the word? There's like a classic bastard and then a genuine bastard in there. What do we think of FC Sirs? I know we've already slagged them off on the Discord channel, but yeah, what do we think of this lineup? Whammy, you can go first this time.
I don't think they're very good. I think that they have some good players in their team, definitely, but like I put as the weakness, I think they don't look great in defense or attack. Which tends to be a bad combo.
Yeah. Just before I let you go, Vince, George has picked up on the key witnesses that Whammer sent to me and said, "Is this in good taste or bad taste?" And I said, "We'll put it in anyway." So yeah, I'm glad we got. I'm not going to say I'm glad we got one hit on there. That would be in bad taste. We got someone picked up on it is what we want. And now I'm just going to move on. Vince, what do you think? Are you going to defend your countryman, or are you going to say it's rubbish?
It doesn't look to have the same standards as the team we've seen up to now.
Yeah.
I love Modric. I do like Griezmann. Looking at a team like that, Boateng did okay for me last year. Was one of the rare players to finish with a green number in terms of average rating. But yeah, I'm not tremendously.
We're not impressed, are
by
we?
this team.
We're not impressed. All right, so where are we going to put them? It's definitely bottom half, isn't it? Is it really bottom half bad, or is it 14, 15, 16?
I would. Yeah, 15 to 18 would be my guess. And you can put them probably 17, 18 to start with, and we can still move them around afterwards.
If there are enough teams we think are worse, we can move them up a tier.
And I don't think it's going to happen. Let's move on. Chilean Menace. With their many, almost as many nicknames as Manchester. You'd have to be truly awful at this to do that. Yeah, exactly. Chilean Menace, top 10. The non-existent Lucas Diaz, whatever he's called. Dembele, future Newcastle player. Brozovic, round 1. Was a huge shout. What do we think of this? Vince, I'll let you go.
I to be honest, I'm not impressed either. I feel a bit like I feel it is a bit like the Martyrs FC Source. My God, I'm getting completely confused. FC Source that we were looking at just before. Like Luca Hernandez, I had him last year, didn't do that well. Some of the names here look really good, of course, Kimmich, the Fridge, but the rest is very unimpressive to me. I'm sorry, Francisco.
And what do you think, Whammer?
I mean, I agree. I also agree with what Reese has put in the chat, that Lucas Hernandez will play left wing back, Rice will get moved to centre back, and Paredes will come in centre mid. That is my prediction for how they actually line up. But yeah, top 10 is like, after all the jokes about him being top 10 initially, he is actually becoming top 10 in terms of being a quality striker. I don't know whether this system is the one that would get the best out of him, and I don't know if he would get the best out of this system. I feel like you need maybe more of a presence to be the striker when you've got so much of your focus down the wings. Like, if he actually gets this team of Saka and Kimmich both playing at full back, which I don't think either of them necessarily will, then they're going to be pushing so much strength down the wings and then whipping balls in. And top 10, he's no Ronnie or DCL, is he?
No.
Yeah.
We've got George saying, I don't think you want Saka and Diaz on the same flank at the same time anyway. Is that because neither of them are real? Is that's going to have a corporeal issue? Mike says the manager is so important for this team, so I suppose we will find out what happens when Francisco picks a manager. And Reese is complaining that Jumpy Reach and Reese is complaining that we don't know anything, so nothing new there. Where do we think these lads are ending up on our tier maker then? I feel like that was a better team than the Sirs team. Maybe in the same kind of pigs bracket. Any objections to there? Higher? Lower?
Yeah, I would put them 14, 15, 16.
Okay. Well, that's where they are. We'll move them about. Sorry, Francisco. Getting worse at the game like everyone else. Oh, hold the phone. Who have we got next? It's Le Ball de la Foot, another one of our host teams. Yeah. You say on your season goals, Vince, that it's irrelevant. You just want to get Messi in your team next season. So I suppose that is that's fun, isn't it?
That's just what I want to do. I want to pair Messi and Benzema to see if something happens, if suddenly the galaxy opens and light shines on the pitch and makes them score loads of goals and finish in the first half of the league.
I'm excited to see which manager you've got. And yeah, everyone seems to be pointing out that the chances are Fekir and Neymar are going to switch around. Or Neymar might not play at all.
Might get injured again. Honestly, when I put the team together, it's been very weird this year because I haven't had many disappointments. As in, most of the times I wanted a player, I've been able to pick him. There has been very, very few times where it's been stolen away from me. So, like, more or less the team I wanted to build. It doesn't look that good, even to my own acknowledgement. But for Fekir and Neymar, honestly, whichever plays 10 and whichever plays forward, I'm happy with either. I know Neymar could play 10, and we've seen in FM21 that Fekir had a good record at strikers, so my direction to the upcoming manager or the incoming manager would be to put Fekir up top. We'll see how that goes.
Right, and Whammer, what do you think? What do you think of this very narrow team?
Again, I think it's good. Like, okay, so before I say that, I guess Benzema's a meme, for us with Football Manager, and it's because he's deceptively crap. Who knows? Maybe they'll solve that in FM22. Maybe having Neymar and Fekir up alongside him will bring out the best of him. Who knows? But putting that to one side, we sort of assume Benzema isn't going to be as good as he would be if it was in real life, but maybe isn't going to be the anchor that he often is. Then I think the front three of Benzema, Fekir and Neymar looks really good. I think Pogba, Keita and Rabiot is a really solid base behind that. I think Koulibaly and Koundé and Cavas are all, none of them are absolute top tier defenders or goalkeepers, but they're all very good. And then I think Guerrero, in my experience of having Rafael Guerrero in my team for the last 3 seasons or whatever it's been, has been that he's real good. And I think he'll have a field day having all of the flank to himself basically. If I had to have one weakness other than Benzema, it would be Azpilicueta. I don't think is necessarily capable of commanding that entire flank to himself the way that Guerrero is on the other side. But I feel like that's a relatively minor nitpick, and I think they should make the split.
Yeah, I like it. I like the formation seems almost set up to stop Benzema dropping deep because there's already 4
Sorry, I just saw George's comment, good that they've left room on the left wing for Benzema.
Yeah. With 4 players in that central midfield, I feel like it's going to stop Benzema dropping deep so much. And I really like that Koulibaly, Koundé, Cavas. I think there's something in that, we'd get an acronym out of it or something.
Oh my god.
Anyway, we'll workshop that one and see where it lands. Yeah, they could have an all-white away kit or something. I don't know.
Oh my god! Please no. Let's not get there.
Anyway,
that being said, can I just say one more thing, which is
yes.
When I was looking at Benzema, I know that his physical attributes are not where you would want the physical attributes of a top striker to be in the game. So I was thinking, how do I make sure that he stays up top as much as possible? So that's actually why I tried to find a formation somehow that would make sure that he has people around him to give him balls and run around him. So that's how I ended up with this. I'm not saying that I managed to paint the picture I had in mind, but that's the intention at the beginning, at least.
Oh, well, I think we will find out. So on the tier maker, where are we dropping Le Ball de la Foot? 6-7. That seems to be the relatively positive outlook that we've got. 6-7. Are we happy with them there?
That sounds good to me.
I've also fired the coaching staff from last season, so hopefully they won't start fighting against each other at the middle of the season and all get injured.
Yeah, that would be a great help, wouldn't it, if you could not have your entire team injured?
Yeah, that was real harsh.
That was good fun.
All right. Moving on, I don't think Calvin's awake, so he can't tell us to fuck off. But here we are. Let's just enjoy this slide for a little bit, and then we'll talk properly about the Pocket Dogs. Best on paper, as always. Maybe we'll actually wake him up to tell us to fuck off, and then he'll
That's
draft.
right. Then he can pick. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
then he can pick. So he'll log on, say, "I hate you guys. Fuck you."
We'll heart react to it.
Yeah, and it'll be great. No, let's seriously talk about the Pocket Dogs. I actually quite like it. All jokes aside, I do think it's a pretty good. Team. Maybe not the best Pocket Dogs team we've ever seen. Again, a lot like Benzema, Firmino is an unknown quality. Like, he's been shit for so long, but is he finally going to be good? We don't know. Wemma, what do you think?
I mean, like you said, who knows? Like, this is where us having to judge this for it being FM22 makes it a little bit tougher. I mean, if we compare the front three to like the Liverpool front three, Sane obviously isn't as good as Salah, but otherwise it is literally just one of the best front threes in the world. I think the balance of the midfield is really good. The defense isn't amazing, but I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is I think that they're incredible and should win the league.
Yeah, I can't believe that we're actually going to not put them first for the first time ever. What do you think, Vince? Are you impressed by this, or are you...
I mean, I agree with the strength. Sadio Mane is tremendous. After that, I'm not impressed by the team in general. Great keeper, okay. I don't rate the back four as one of the best in the league. I'll confess that I know too little about Zielinski and Fabian to really know whether they're really, really good or just one of these, I'd say that, solid players. To me, it looks like one of these teams that's going to kind of air around the 10 to 13th position.
Oh, harsh words from George. This is like a worse version of all those BBC teams that finished 14th religiously. Sane hasn't been good since Peckham played 17 minutes a game. Wow. We've got some real harsh words for the Pocket Dogs, and I feel like we're going to have to put them in the tier maker. And in all honesty, I don't even think I can drop them in that top. I just think they're quite bad this year. So I'm gonna break with all tradition and say we're killing the joke now. We'll bring it back next year, but we're gonna drop them in 11, 12, 13. Yeah. Does anyone have any disagreements with that? Can you convince me?
I mean, my position would be that I'm sensing a lot of negativity around the Pocket Dogs right now.
Okay.
And I feel like that is going to be really disheartening for Calvin, and giving him the pick-me-up of putting the Pocket Dogs in first, I think would be really important for him.
Yeah.
If you finally want to break with tradition, then we do need to move everyone else up one, because I definitely was giving predictions under the assumption that we'd be putting the Pocket
You know
Dogs
what?
first.
You've taught me round. We'll put him first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too much admin otherwise, isn't it?
Too much admin. We'll put him first. He'll love it because he'll be watching this on catch up and he'll think, finally, they're taking me seriously. And we've pulled the rug out from under him. Little kiss down the camera for Calvin. Right, let's move on and talk about the other Singapore team, the Manx in black, who are now the Manx in grey and white. That was on the jokes I changed earlier. I remember that now. What do we think of the Manx? I mean, they've lost a pretty good front three. Have they improved on Ronnie, DCL and Hackers? Or is Big Bob, Insignia and Gnabry much worse? What do we think, Vince?
I do like this team. Lewandowski is of course tremendous. 16 minutes, an excellent support. I would assume Jorginho is gonna be done some justice in the game. He did have a tremendous season last year, so you would expect him to have his stats to reflect that. So Jorginho, Fernandinho, tremendous DM. Stones, PK, strong CB. Ter Stegen, one of the best keepers in the game. To me, it's a team of the Manx in black that's back to the level we are used to see them, closer to that top 3, 4, 5 position.
Yeah, and we and I think this is one thing that to say to Stefan's credit, we did give Carlo Ancelotti a lot of shit for being in charge of a lot of bad teams when their like joke manager got sacked, and then we'd bring Ancelotti would come in and be good. And Ancelotti was good last season. Is he going to be good again? Quite possibly. It's a strong team. I mean, is PK getting a little old? Maybe. But yeah, I think it's a good team. What do we think, Whammer?
Yeah, I mean, I just basically agree with what you've been saying. I think it looks like a really good all-round team. I don't have much analysis to add for it, really.
That's fine.
It's just pretty damn good, isn't it?
Pretty good. Second or 3, 4, 5? Where do we think? I'm gonna whack him in 3.
Definitely one of these two for sure.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Just have a quick look again at the results. Yeah, I think I would rate the Manx above the results.
Okay, that's where they land for now. All right, let's move on to then. Whoa, we're really powering through these. We're getting to the proper bottom half of the table now, because we're talking about the Ducks. And yeah, you're getting near the end of the presentation when you're talking about the Ducks.
And you're gonna be next time you're gonna talk about the Ducks, you're gonna be near the end of the presentation as well, because they have Messi in their team.
Yeah, if there's one player who guarantees you're going to finish in the bottom half of the league, it is Lionel Messi. And my God, what a load of shitters you've put next to him. Oh God, Reece is acting sad rather than annoyed. That's just.
He's a sensitive soul, you know that.
Yeah, he was having a down day earlier, and then got given 80 donuts.
I can't imagine that Luis Alberto will be good enough to support Messi there. And they're going to finish what, 11, 12, 13 at best, as usual.
I do think that is worth noticing that Frank Kessie, Luis Alberto, and James Ward-Prowse is a huge, is possibly the most Gobshite central midfield we've ever had.
Yeah.
Like, that is distilled Gobshite. Asabi is a left-sided centre-back.
He'll play where Amondi tells him to play.
Yeah. And I think Chansley is not actually Chansley, it's De Gea, which is nice, I suppose.
Oh, did Reece draft De Gea in the end?
I think that happened.
Bad.
Have I lost?
Yeah, he did. He's betrayed everything he stands for.
I'm not sure about Gomes and Alba. Oh yeah, that Gomes. I'm like, crossing is good. Assume team with best target man and best set piece target will be bad. You don't have Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He's the best set piece target. Anyway, never mind. Yeah. Does anyone else want to say anything about the Ducks while we're here? Great fullbacks, as always.
Yeah.
Anything else?
To be fair, I do think they will be better than I assumed they would be when I thought Reece was going to be having Chansley as his goalkeeper, which is, as indicated by the picture that Reece provided us, was the plan.
Yeah, definitely. That it's misleading, but it's not our fault. So where do we think they're going? These Ducks 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13?
Yeah, I'd say 11, 12, 13.
11, 12, 13 seems good to me. You happy with that, Vince?
I am, and I wouldn't be surprised if they end up like 13, 14, 15 at some point.
Cool. Yeah, we can get on board with that. Let's talk about the Pythons. James, justify yourself. What were you thinking?
I mean, I was quite happy with this team as I was drafting it. Yeah. And then I got to making the formation and I looked at it and it kind of looks a bit crap. I don't know. I mean, I was discussing this with Vince at the weekend. I think that Martial, Jeffrey and Sancho could be a really good front three, or it could be like the worst front three of the 18 teams that aren't drafting for memes. It wouldn't really surprise me either way. Like, Jeffrey is such an unknown. Sancho in FM22 has had a big boost, but is still an unknown. Martial has gotten worse and has, like, in the past season he's been good. He's been good in some of the past seasons, but never as a lone striker. I'm relying on, like, I didn't pick him based on how he's been in past seasons. I picked him based on doing a search in the database for strikers that had all of the attributes I wanted, and he was literally the only name that came up. And then I was like, okay, cool, that'll annoy Reece, that'll be funny. I really like the balance of my midfield. I think that's going to be good. And, Van Dijk and Joe Gomes is a pretty good centre-back pairing. Magnan in goal, I'm really happy I was able to get him so late, because I took him at like round 12 or something, and I think he is, it doesn't look like I prioritised the keeper that low based on how good he is. And then James and Mendes, they're solid fullbacks. Like, they're not going to be the strength of the team, but I don't think they'll be a weakness. So, I don't know. This team, I could make the split. I could finish 15th. I wouldn't be super surprised either way.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of roles that could happen here, that you get a really good draw and you're all of a sudden in 6th place, or everything goes a bit wrong and Martial forgets how to score and you end up in 15th. That, like, either of those things could happen. Yeah, I do think that some chat's been interesting here. Liam says it's crap. George quite likes it. Johannes says started well and then fails to impress greatly. And yeah, that is one thing that we do have to say. Pep Guardiola does well a lot of the time. So we have to again look at how good I'm fairly sure we said in the last preview show about Tiki Taka Toa, the Pep factor will always bump a team up into just by being a much better manager than most of the other the managers in the database, especially now that a lot of the really good ones are dead.
It would be funny if I could get him killed, though, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, I would love it if you got him killed. But you can also see, is it going to be a kind of a Klopp situation last year, where you make the cut, finish 10th, and kill him on the last day of the season? I think that's the best outcome, really, and it'll be better for all the players as well, because they won't be juiced up to their eyeballs. Anyway, Vince, I'm not let you speak at all. What do you think of the Pythons this year?
To be very honest, they give me a similar vibe as the Manx in a sense. Like, I do like their midfield and their back row. Like, it seems to be like very top level. Kroos, Coquet, Locatelli, Van Dijk, Gobes. Mike Maignan is a bit untested in FM22, but technically very good. Like, it has this from some similarities with the Manx, but the difference is definitely the front three. I understand James's point regarding these three players. They might turn out to be great, but they very much are a bet. Whilst the Manx, of course, have Lewandowski, Insigne, at least plus Gnabry. So yeah, they give me that vibe, but it feels like they will fall short of this, but not too short. The Pep Guardiola factor for me is going to be big, and they're going to be making the cuts and probably ending in that 6 to 10 bracket.
Cool. Yeah, I hope no one saw what I just did there. Yeah, I agree. So where are we going to put them? I think they sit in that 8, 9, 10. Better than Barcelona, worse than Manchester. Are we happy with that?
That sounds about right to me.
Yeah, I'll go for that. Look at us. All predicted ourselves in the top half of the league. That's fun, isn't it?
Oh my god.
We don't do that.
This is shouting misery, guys. Like, we're gonna be looking at this at the end of the season and gonna find it very funny.
It'll be fine. We just all had really good drafts, Vince. It's fine. Don't question it. It's fine.
No one saw anything. Let's move on.
If I remember correctly, when we did the predictions at the very beginning of the Gobshite League, James and I had done the predictions for season 2, I guess, season 2 or 3, and as a meme, we had predicted ourselves first and second, and it just so happened that we were actually first and second at the halfway point, but then after that, we just completely collapsed. So, well, we'll see if history repeats itself somehow.
Stop talking in chat like you saw something, because you saw nothing, and we're moving on. You saw nothing. Right, let's just talk about Halfman. When I made this earlier, I thought it looked absolutely shit. But yeah, I just thought, oh god, this might be one of the worst Gobshite teams I've ever seen. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. What do you think, James?
I mean, I don't think it's one of the worst ones we've ever seen, because the competition is pretty stiff for that. But I mean, like, yeah, playing Bilver as part of a double pivot, he's a great player, but I don't think he can do that role. I think, like, Memphis, Vardy, Pulisic and Tadic is an interesting front four and could do, like, no part of it screams amazing, but no part of it screams awful. Alba and Pereira are very good fullbacks. Courtois is a very good keeper. Sergio Ramos is obviously a very good centre back, but the balance of the team looks off, and it doesn't have any part of it where you're like, oh well, that's just absolutely outstanding. So
yeah, when unless. And now,
George
yeah.
has pointed out in the chat, this formation perfectly suits playing 5 up top.
Yeah, if it's fitness Fabio, I'm on board. I'm on board with it. But it has to be fitness Fabio, doesn't it? Because when I was making the team earlier, I was like, who's the other midfielder in the pivot? I could see Rakitic. I'm like, so that's one, and then it just kept being more attacking midfielders, and yeah. But now that I've been brought round to it being fitness Fabio's famous 5, I'm on board. It's one of the best teams I've ever seen. What do you think, Vince?
As it is, I'm not impressed. If the formation was different and made better use of Bilva, then it could be a different story. But
yeah,
as it is like that, if I'm asked to run the team on this formation with these players, I would probably put it in the second half of the rankings, somewhere between like 12, 16.
Sure. Yeah. I can't even be bothered to make it. I can't make it that quick, so we're not going to bother. This definitely goes up 5 places with fitness Fabio. Yeah.
What it's worth, I think more likely we get Bilver where Tadic is, and then Thomas Partey where Bilver is, and I think the team immediately looks a lot more reasonable at that point.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
Cool. So where are we going to drop? Where are we going to drop Halfman? I feel like they're going 14, 15, 16, just based on what we said there, or is it actually going to jump up with a proper lineup?
I'd be fine with them 14, 15, 16. Just having a quick look at the Menace. Yeah, I'll probably put, as they are now, I'd probably put them just below the Menace. But
Cool.
That would be me.
Yeah, that I can get on board with that, and I'm not going to ask Whammer because I want to watch I'm a Celebrity. We've got more slides to get through. Hey,
That's cool.
Right, let's move on and talk about Wedge. Possibly the best team Wedge has ever put together. Are they going to be good? Are they going to crop a photo properly? Who knows? Yeah, what do we think of WBA's team? I mean, it's a really good midfield if they all manage to play in midfield.
That's what I was about to say. Is this the best midfield we've seen? I know there's contention for that, but this looks really strong.
Yeah, keep in mind you do need to plug Saul in Fabinho's spot and move Fabinho to where Nacho is.
Yeah, but from I mean, it's a very, very untested front three, isn't it?
Yeah, it kind of gives me similar vibes to my team in that regard, in that I think that the defence is pretty solid but not incredible. I think that the midfield is the strength, and I think the front three could be really good or could be crap, and we don't know. And then the main difference is that I have Pep as my manager and will therefore make the cut, hopefully, and Wedge doesn't and therefore might not.
Yeah, so we've got some love for Osimhen, looking good for FN22. Leon Bailey has got history bailing out awful teams like Barcelona. And yeah, you can't... Kevin De Bruyne is always... I don't think he's always heavily featured in highlights, but he's always up there in like the game stats, like passing and things like that. So, I mean, it could come together and they finish like 5th. Or it could be terrible and they finish 18th like they always do. So, yeah. Well,
I would lean more towards the 5th position, to be honest. That midfield for me is absolutely impressive, and I think the front three has enough potential to make the cut and push a little bit further.
All right, so if we put them there and bump the Manx up, I've not seen any team that I've liked more than the Manx so far, I don't think. Is that, are we happy with that, or do we want to bump someone else down and leave? Oh no, it's only the joke teams next. We definitely need to fill in this bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's fine to put the Manx in second. That's the two Singaporeans at the top. That makes sense.
Yeah, can get on board with that. Cool. All right, let's move on and talk about Los Rios. Are these guys good this time? Will we remember they exist? Who knows? I think they've got some really good. I must say, I quite like that centre-back pairing. I feel like those two would complement each other well if one of them wasn't suspended and the other one wasn't injured all the time. Could be a title-winning team. And Rashford, that's good. Shame about those midfielders. But yeah. What do we think of Los Rios? Whammer, what do you think?
I mean, they look really good. Yeah, they look really good, don't they? Like, I don't think they'll win the league or anything, but I do think they'll definitely make the split. Like, I in my head, the spot that we just gave to Wedge is the spot that I would have given to Rios.
The new BBC is what Reese says. And Vince, what do you think?
I'm actually on the other side of the spectrum from Whammer. He certainly is right, and I probably am wrong. But I don't rate this team very highly. As in, I see Suarez and Müller as being really good, no worries about that. But I can't remember Rashford being tremendous in Football Managers in the seasons we've played, at least on FM21. That midfield three seems underwhelming compared to the other midfield threes that we've seen so far, most of them at least. and the back four, Mendy, Maguire, Varane, Pavard, like in real life, I wouldn't rate them that highly together. Maybe in Football Manager it's a bit different. But yeah, I'm not impressed. Like I would put them second half of the rankings.
Ooh.
Very quickly on Rashford. In FM21, other than the season where he was on the All Strikers team, because that doesn't feel completely fair as a point of comparison, Rashford has scored 13 or more goals in all but one season. So he'll do his fair share.
All right, so where are we going to put them on the tier maker? I feel like they're sitting there. We bump Barcelona down and whack them in 10th.
Sure.
As a compromise. Maybe we'll bump them above me and Whammer because they're probably better than that. They've got a better manager than me and a less good one than Whammer, probably. Anyway, moving on, because that's more time than any of us will think about Los Rios until the end of the season, when we have to remember their players for the Globby voting. The BBC, talk about vintage BBC. Here we are, they're back. The BBC, what do we think? Vince, you can go first this time.
What do we think? I do like the team. Like I don't know how good Haaland will be in FM22. The team seems good, but no, to be very honest, I don't rate them that highly. All in all,
I love that. The team seems good. The team seems good, but you don't rate them that highly.
One thing
I was basically.
I'm going to go out on a limb
and
say that I think Haaland's going to be really good in FM22. That's a hot take from me. I think Haaland's going to be really good.
Yeah, I think he's going to be like a top 3 pick in future drafts in FM22.
Top 3, wow, okay. That being said, so yeah, I was basically thinking out loud. I was seeing Haaland, Di Maria, Laporte, okay. But looking a bit further, Mount, Coutinho, Busquets, are they still that good in FM22? Yeah, I don't know. Like again, that midfield 3 doesn't seem so good. So I would put them like somewhere between 11 to 15 ultimately.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the team is made up of absolutely amazing players for the most part, but I don't think the balance of it is very good. So I think they will miss the split and then moan about it.
Ooh, it's a big shout. So are we just going to whack them in at 14 and have done with it?
Yeah, you want to watch I'm a Celebrity.
Yeah, I want to get right on, see that Bush took a trial. Let's move. Castle Challenge? I don't know. Millwall. This is another one where I did the formation, so it might not be this. They said a Christmas tree, but I think you need 3 midfielders for a Christmas tree, and the only definite central midfielder they had was De Jong. I
forgot that they drafted Kingsley Coman for a Christmas tree.
Yeah, I was looking on Transfermarkt and I'm like, how the fuck do I fit Kingsley Coman into the Christmas tree? Yeah. So he's in at central midfield.
Deschamps put him at right back.
Yeah, but then you've also got Javas. Who knows? Yeah.
And if they're goalkeeper as well.
Oh yeah, we don't have the goalkeeper. I wanted to go home from work, and I forgot who they had as a goalkeeper.
It's Jan Sommer for a
Jan
reference.
Sommer, yeah. So very much back. Click to edit to keep him out. Yeah, click to edit could be really, really good this season. It's pretty rubbish, isn't it? Don't we think? But
yeah.
It really depends on the formation that's going to be played ultimately, right? Kane, Felix, Coman, if they're put in the right positions, they're a decent front 3.
Mart is definitely drafting for Christmas tree.
I wouldn't be surprised if... Is Tony Vidmar still alive? If we're getting Tony Vidmar as the manager. Or another Christmas tree loser. Let's whack him on the tier maker and put them in their rightful place just above FC Sirs. I feel like that'll annoy Nicky.
Yeah. I'm fine with that.
Cool. All right, let's jump back onto the presentation and talk about Surreal Giants. They've not made a pick for ages. They're all really tall players. They're probably going to be better than last season, but still quite comfortably last. What do we think?
Yeah, I believe you summed it up correctly.
Yeah. God bless you, Hadley. This team's going to be an incredible mess. I think they're going to be more entertaining than the old people, because the old people was just getting battered every week, whereas I think they're closer to a competent football team.
Yeah, like they will probably do much better than the kids did in season 9. Like this isn't like a complete farce of a team. It's just not as good as the other 19.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to have the fun fact of every time there's going to be a set piece for them, there's going to be the drum rolls of knowing whether they will actually score on them or not.
Yeah. All right, let's whack them on the tier maker in the rightful spot. The only place that they're going to be is 19th, which brings us on at the end of the presentation to our final team.
Did you say their rightful place is 19th?
Oh, 20th, obviously 20th. Okay. The Schola system, our new team. What do we think? How do we think Sam's done on his first attempt at this? I thought taking a manager as one of his 2 keeps was probably the fault of whoever was explaining the rules to him. But yeah, what do we think? James, you can go first.
Well, I mean, to be honest, I didn't hate the idea of taking a manager as one of the 2 keeps. I thought that was like oddly savvy in that it meant that Sam doesn't have to worry about his managerial choice for the entire rest of the draft. He knows exactly what system he's getting. Like, obviously, there's a chance he could have just taken Nagelsmann like round 4 or whatever, and just gotten a slightly better keep. But I think it was a marginal gain in exchange for what he got. I mean, Mbappe, we've seen wins games just by being Kylian Mbappe, so I think that's good. I think the defense looks a bit meh. Like, I think he won't do terribly, but I don't think he'll make the split.
Well, yeah, I don't mind the idea of Ice whacking balls into Mbappe to run onto. I think I think that link up could be very, very effective. And as we said earlier, I don't think Alan Saint-Maximin is probably going to be playing that much. Yeah, I don't hate this team, but also it's not one of the jaw-dropping best teams we've ever seen. But Mbappe will drag teams to wins. This shows.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. The question is really the Mbappe factor, as in, will it be strong enough to carry them to the split or not?
All right, let's bump on to the tier maker. I think we're going to drop Halfman down and probably drop Reese down as well.
Yeah, I was going to say put Sam ahead of Reese just to make Reese happy.
We'll whack Sam in there. I'm sure he'd be thrilled by having the fat lad from Emperor's New Groove as his icon. But yeah, that is. Do we want to do any more moving about now that we've seen all the teams? Or are we reasonably happy that this is what we're sticking with?
I mean, there's definitely parts that I will change when I do my version of this. For example, I think we're mad for having Wedge so high, but ooh. I think that, like, on the whole, that's probably a good, like, rough, approximation of our collective opinions.
Yeah, I could get on board with moving Wedge down a little bit. I think that's fine.
I was about to say the same thing about Tiki Taka too. Like, I feel they're a bit high. They could be a bit further down, like close to 7 or 8. even if that means bumping up the Pythons, for example.
I think Tiki Taka Toa, other than obviously the Pocket Dogs, are favourites to win the league. So I think having them in fourth or whatever it was is a good middle ground between the two of us.
Okay, fair.
Cool. That's where we're landing. Yeah. So I suppose the only thing we've got left to do now is to reveal exclusively for the first time where we're going to be playing all our games next season. And this is a world exclusive. No one has seen this before. So congratulations, San Marino. We're playing in San Marino.
Oh,
I'm such a huge fan of this. I have such a long nostalgic history for San Marino and Football Manager. I really hope that we get enough great regens that in like... Oh no, because Reese is going to retire them internationally. Never mind.
Yeah. So, San Marino, that's where we're going to be getting off to.
And we're playing in Europe, which means that we're going to be in contention, or our players are going to be in contention for best European players and stuff like that, isn't it?
Apparently so.
For all the awards. Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
How many stadiums are there in San Marino?
Well, there's going to be 20 soon.
Yeah.
I don't know that they have the space to make 20 stadiums.
They're all flat pack. You can disassemble them when you're done.
Yeah, we're going to do loads for the San Marino economy. Yeah, let's just San Marino, that's where we go. Calvin will hopefully wake up soon and make his pick, and we can continue the draft. I'd like to say thank you very much to Vince for joining us and joining us while babysitting. That's and Ophelie had some great input, almost as much screaming as Reese, maybe not quite. And yeah, thank you, Vince.
My pleasure, and our pleasure, I should say.
Yeah, and thank you, James, for joining us just in time.
Yeah, no worries. Sorry for giving you no warning whatsoever that I was turning up at 8 on the dot.
Oh no, it's absolutely fine. It was it made slagging you off funnier because yeah, it just worked, didn't it? Because we were like, oh, fuck, you know, and then there you were. Fantastic. Yeah, thank you all for watching and commenting and having fun. We'll share the link to the tier maker so that you can make your own, and we'll see who does best next time. Can anyone beat Jojo?
On that point, as a reminder, if you want your entries to be taken, really send them to me via private message, either on Discord or Facebook.
I was going to suggest, Vince, is it worth us adding another text channel in the Discord? Just say, put your predictions in here. That way.
Yeah, that's a really
find.
good shout, and I'll do that right now.
Cool. All right, then the only thing that I've got left to do then is play the jingle. So thank you all for watching. Here's the jingle.
It's Gobshite tonight. Show respect, don't start a fight. With all the gimmicks you love to see, and some jokes understood by Reese Kennedy. So grab a drink and do us right. All the cool kids are watching Gobshite.